mine, Ron Marshall, owner of Red Crow Marketing. We just started to sit down and talk about what a marketing agency does.
Oh, this is videotaping.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I have to watch my language.
All my students are going to be watching you soon.
Okay.
I tell you, the best question probably is, how in the world did you get into this line of work? Because weren't you a musician at one time?
Well, yeah, creative. And that was many years ago from high school up. But I think that a lot of people come in from different creative backgrounds and find a place in some sort of media or some sort of agency and such. But back when I was playing music, they didn't have Apple computers and graphic designer. I may have been doing that. So I actually got into it from the jingle side, from the advertising side. So I started writing jingles, and the first thing I did when I moved here from Los Angeles area in 1994, my first week I was out peddling jingles, and the first one I actually did here was the right here.
I'm ready. Okay. This is great.
If your heater won't heat and your cooler won't cool, come and make your kitchen into a pool. Same day service.
I've heard that.
Anybody out there remembers that?
I know that one.
Still playing. But I started doing jingles, and I went to work for the News Leader and spent a lot of time with them, and then with Gannett, and then spent a couple years with Color 10. And so my entry into this is representing single media. I could see needs for clients to be able to do other things. And the problem is being limited to selling a single media, that if they're not buying your particular thing, well, you're not really making a living. So what I like about the agency is that it doesn't matter which one they want. We have them all.
That ties in so well with some of the chapters we're studying right now on with what media to use, what works best. And I know from personal experience, a lot of times your radio guys will come in and say, "Oh, you've got to use radio. Radio is the only way to go." TV guy will come in and say, "Oh, no, visual. That's where it's at. That's how you're going to sell."
Mm-hmm.
What's the best media for you?
Well, that's probably why we got so many businesses to the agencies, because people don't know which to pick, and it's a constant distraction. Everybody coming in and saying, "We're number one." So before we were Red Crow Marketing, we were Greenleaf Marketing. And
didn't you guys go into some kind of legal trouble?
No, we didn't get in any legal trouble, but we had a lot of people threatening our lives and wanting to collect copy machines, thinking we were the real estate company. But as the agency, I developed this just for fun.
Stick them on us.
And basically that's something to hand to clients, but it was rude and I didn't put it out there, just made a couple up. For clients and business owners to be able to say, look, if you want to talk about our advertising, then go over here to Greenleaf or Red Crow, because if they love it, I love it. And the position from being in the agency is that our loyalty is not to a sales manager, to a single media or any media for that example. We love them and hate them all equally. Okay, our alliance is to the client, solely to the client. Now we make sure the client pays the bills for these media. We take care of the media. They are our partners, but we represent the client. And if it's not working for the client, it doesn't matter what media.
Gotcha.
And the interesting thing is that so many people don't know how well an ad agency can help any size business place their media, do a better job, because we have software, and we give a totally unbiased approach. And a lot of times the agency commission is already included in the rates that they're paying directly.
I think the impression I've always had in the past when I had a business was that an agency would cost a fortune. Only big Madison Avenue type companies have a marketing agency.
That's exactly right. They think that we're like Mad Men and Madison Avenue, and we're all going around in suits, and it just doesn't work that way. Or if you're old enough, you remember your wife goes like this, "Dooga and makes a fantastic presentation for you. Darren was the ad guy. But they don't understand what an agency does. And there's kind of 4 flavors of ad agencies.
Okay.
There is the ones that do graphic design. Now, they all call themselves full service. For some unknown reason, they sub everything else out. But they either do graphic design, or they do video production, or they do media buying and placement, or they do web. Those are the 4 main categories in agency. You say I'm an agency, but really it should be I'm an agency specializing in blah, blah, blah. Here at Red Crow, we do it all. We have everything under one roof. We have the departments, our own studios, and everything. It's not a pitch to try to get your business, but it's just explaining our business philosophy is a little bit different.
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to interview you, because I knew you're not just plugged into one medium or something like that. And back to that question, so basically an ad agency is a marketing department for a company that either needs extra help or doesn't have a marketing department of their own?
Yeah, a lot of business owners are experts at maybe they're great attorneys, or maybe they're great doctors, or maybe they're great florists or something. But that doesn't mean that they're great in marketing and advertising, and it's a scary thing. The question is, where do I put my money? Where am I going to most likely get a return? What do I say? They quite often they don't even know who their demographics are. And explaining that is, you kind of got to mold them into shape. You gotta know what's best for them. Ask a lot of questions and engage with them, because you don't know their business like they do. But the way that we try to position ourselves is to be like an in-house marketing department for clients. See, by having everything here, we virtually have every solution. Now, no client uses everything we have here, but every client uses at least one thing we have here.
Right.
Whether it's just they need a logo or a design. That's good to have, because it's like a utility belt. If I was just saying I wanted to specialize in one particular area, let's say graphic designs, and I could do that, but I was a marketing director in California for many years, and I was kind of used to being able to use all the tools when I needed it. So by the way that we're structured, it's like a big utility belt. You pull that tool to solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We're solution-based rather than product-based.
Gotcha.
Which is a good thing it's a good slogan, isn't it?
So, I'm a Joe Blow. I have my own little private business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at making or servicing widgets,
Mm-hmm.
but I have no idea how to let customers know I'm out there.
Mm-hmm.
How do you help them? How do you get them to the point of, we're going to produce something to let people know?
Well, the first thing I do is I learn about the product or the business.
Okay.
And then I try to identify what are your top 3 to 5 products or services.
Okay.
What is it that you're really trying to pump? And then what are the top 5 things that your prospects want from you? Why would they seek you out? Okay. And you're going to hear things that they say they're different because they really care, or our service is better, or it doesn't work. And so I take it a little further and I say, tell me about the prospect, tell me their age, tell me. There's 3 things I look at. I look at the demographics, I look at the geography, and I look at the psychographics. The psychographics being what turns them on and what turns them off. Why would a person, are we talking about somebody who's more adventurous that would buy your product or needs your service, older people, younger, whatever it is. Geographically, I try to pin them down to a smaller DMA. Quite often they say, well, we're all over the place. Well, that's true, but is somebody going to drive past 6 of your other competitors to get to you? And if so, why? Convince me. Because if you can't convince me, I can't work for you convincing all these people. And I'll tell you if I'm not convinced. That's a pretty fair proposition. If you can be mad at me that Ron didn't buy into it, but I've just saved you a whole lot of money.
Right.
Okay? Might as well be transparent. And the first thing, though, is the demographics, the gender, the age, the income levels, and things like that. The reason that you got to know these is because it's how to, who is the prospect?
Target market.
Who is the target?
Mm-hmm.
I like the line that Mel Gibson said in the movie The Patriot. He said, aim small, miss small. And if you apply that to marketing and advertising better, you're going to see some results, and you'll know it's what you're doing. Quite often